to another edition of Pylon to Pylon presented by Crossover. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. And normally when you're looking for NFL draft prospects, you want to travel out west to maybe the Pac-12, Mountain West Conference, or even the Big 12 to find your perimeter talent, receivers, and corners. You may want to look at the SEC or Big 10 for your offensive linemen, defensive linemen, linebackers, and running backs. But this year, if you need a quarterback, you may want to stop in the ACC because right now the Atlantic Coast Conference has some of the top passers in this year's NFL draft. Let's start with Deshaun Watson, who graded out tied for our top quarterback spot on our football game plan scouting rankings. The 6'2", 215-pound Watson is extremely football smart and is quick to diagnose coverages and find the open receiver. He routinely sees where the free blitzer is coming from and is able to adjust and make the throw. When you look at his game in the situational awareness department, third downs, backed up offense, 2-minute offense, he does extremely well. When the game is on the line, Watson embraces the challenge and plays as calm as you would in the first quarter. He has a good feel for pressure to not take the costly sack and shows great proficiency inside the red zone. I like how poised he is as a quarterback. He's never afraid of the pressure of all types and has been that way since his true freshman season when he came in out of high school and wrestled the job away from Cole Stout. Mistakes don't bother him at all and bad plays do not faze him. In my opinion, he's a great prospect that possesses elite level poise and awareness. His game mirrors that of Marcus Mariota of the Tennessee Titans. As a matter of fact, he graded out to me better situationally than Marcus Mariota did coming out of Oregon. When Watson is locked in, he's deadly accurate, he's decisive, and displays razor sharp focus that always has his team coming out on top. Next up is Deshaun Kaiser out of Notre Dame. Now, I know Notre Dame isn't in the ACC for football, but they are in for basketball, and the football team does play a lot of ACC schools, so we wanted to put Kaiser in this video anyway. So the 6'4", 235-pound Golden Domer goes through his progressions really well. You can tell he understands both coverages and protections. The bad decisions, in my opinion, don't come from him not being able to see the field. It's mostly from inaccurate throws. Now, you can tell he's a well-prepared player on game day. Kaiser has the poise of a 16-year NFL vet from the time he was thrust into action in that Virginia game and tossed a game-winning touchdown pass to Will Fuller. You can tell that he has ice water in his veins. He's never fazed by pressure, either from defenders or of the situation, and also shows grade A short memory, which is, in my opinion, very important for a quarterback to have. Just like you would expect a cornerback to have short memory, the quarterback has to have that as well, and Kaiser has that in spades. I think he also thrives in a 2-minute situation or no huddle hurry up situations. He's at his calmest there, in my opinion. He also understands down and distance, knows how to evade defenders and throw the ball away, and also shows great clock management skills. He's also solid on third and long. Now, from a stylistic standpoint, Kaiser plays the same game as the late Steve McNair when he was coming out of Alcorn State. Kaiser, like McNair, works touchdown to check down and shows great ability in the intermediate to deep passing game, along with outstanding athleticism and mobility within the pocket. I think Brian Kelly actually prepared him really well to be a day one starter in the NFL with star potential. Gurode Evans of Virginia Tech is one of the more slept-on prospects in this year's draft class. In just one season at Tech, I thought Evans showed great ability in the situational football department. He has a great understanding of down and distance and is remarkably calm in pressure situations on third downs. Backed up offense, facing a deficit like they were in both the ACC championship game and the Belk Bowl versus Arkansas, which he led them to a comeback victory. He's very elusive in the pocket and also outside of the pocket, which makes him a valuable asset at the quarterback position. He does a great job of executing the offense really well. He played in 4 different offensive attacks dating back to high school, where they were under center pro style attack. At Air Force, they were an option team. At Trinity Valley Community College, they were a pro spread offense. And this past season at Tech, they were a spread team like we saw at Memphis with Paxton Lynch. So he's a scheme diverse guy and shows the ability to quickly pick up and master any offense that's thrown his way. To go back to the poise he shows as a quarterback, I believe this is an element of his game that's very impressive. He can handle pressure and shows that he can overcome early mistakes in a ball game. He tends to rise to the occasion. Evans also has above average accuracy on his throws. The placement can be off at times because of lower body mechanics, but overall, he shows A+ accuracy on in-breaking routes, deep sideline throws, and those corner or flag routes to the corner to the pylon that he's able to make those with ease. His game compares favorably to Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys. Both guys are decisive throwers. that are deadly accurate in the intermediate game, and both are really good runners that opens up your offense inside the 20-yard line. Evans isn't a one-year wonder and shows a lot of polish for a player that has played in multiple offenses to step into Virginia Tech and win the starting job and subsequently lead that team to the ACC title game. Speaks volumes about Evans's game and his leadership, both of which will have him highly successful as a pro. I like the game of Nathan Peterman out of Pitt at 6'2", 225. Peterman has fantastic mobility. He adds another dimension to your offensive attack with boots, waggles, half rollouts, sprint outs, in addition to design run plays as well, all being available with him under center. I think he actually has the ability to be a 400-yard rusher as a pro. In my opinion, Peterman does a great job situationally with his ability to use his legs. He does what he can to keep a drive alive and puts points up on the board. In an up-tempo setting, he's able to diagnose and deliver really quickly. 4-minute offense is another area where he has success. He's able to keep the chains moving to close out games. I think his accuracy and placement are all tied to his just okay arm strength. It's solid from 0 to 10 yards and also on the move. Now past that, the ball can sail and invite defenders back into the play. I do like how he's able to see the field, and he does a great job of knowing when and when not to throw the football and when to tuck and run. He's able to move defenders with his eyes and knows how to protect receivers from getting blasted over the middle of the field. Now I like Peterman as much as I like Cody Kessler last year coming out of USC. Both guys are very similar on tape, and Peterman made the most of his starting opportunity, posting back-to-back solid seasons at Pitt in a timing West Coast offensive system. I think he could have a lot of success. Next up is Mitchell Trubisky out of North Carolina. The 6'2", 220-pound Trubisky parlayed his only starting season at UNC into one that could pay huge dividends come draft day. From a football IQ perspective, I think he sees the field fairly well and rarely puts the ball in harm's way. He's also able to reset his eyes if moved off the spot and find the open man. He shows above average poise as well, and it doesn't get rattled easily versus pressure, and is also willing to take a hit and deliver a throw. I like how he looks to find an escape route to utilize his athleticism, and that elusiveness is another part of his game that he brings to the table. He's a very good athlete that has the ability to make defenders miss. So if you're an offensive coordinator, your read option and zone read plays can still be effective with Trubisky at quarterback. Situationally, he shows good ability here as well. Red zone offense, I think he's solid and is able to overcome and play through early mistakes in a ball game. When he takes off the run, he knows where the sticks are and isn't afraid to lower his shoulder. Now, Trubisky's game is very similar to Kirk Cousins of the Washington Redskins. Both guys, in my opinion, are rhythmic passers that thrive off of play action and are above average athletes. In his first season as a starter, he put together a solid season, so his progression arrow is definitely heading in the right direction. Brad Kaaya out of Miami burst onto the scene as a true freshman and played really well. He wasn't overwhelmed at all by the task, and Kaaya has good football IQ. I think for the most part he's able to read coverage as well and shows good understanding of where to go with the football. Accuracy is everything for a quarterback, and Kaaya can be a bit inconsistent here as far as being late is concerned. And when you're late and have only okay arm strength, the placement and accuracy can be a bit off. And I think he runs a bit hot and cold in this area. I do believe he can move an offense downfield in a critical situation. Like I mentioned earlier, he knows where to go with the ball. It's just about getting it out quickly and on time. He's not afraid to take a hit, but if things go off script, he can't seem to get out of his own way, which leads to him taking some unnecessary sacks. Now, his game reminds me a lot of Jason Campbell. I think in a short to intermediate passing game, he can have a lot of success. A timing-based offense is another place where Kaaya can thrive. He's played a lot of football games at a premier program, and I feel like he's more than prepared to play the pro game. Now, the question is whether or not he has a lot of growth left to his game and how much. Patrick Towles of Boston College is built like a tight end and has the athleticism of one as well. Now, he has one of the strongest arms in his draft class and can really put the ball wherever he wants to on a football field. He's one tough SOB, but can be a bit too quick to pull the ball down and take off and run. Now, he'll lose sight of his options downfield because of it, but he is also able to take a hit and pop right back up and get back into the huddle. I think he's a bit up and down in the situational awareness department. It varies from game to game, quite honestly. One game he'll be flawless on third downs, and sometimes in the same game, he'll struggle inside the red zone and vice versa. I think he has good work-withable skills, and his game compares to Ryan Mallett of the Baltimore Ravens, a more athletic version of Ryan Mallett. I think he's a spot starter as a pro until his consistency improves. In a ball control play action offensive attack that thrives off of curls, comebacks, and seam routes, he'd be an ideal fit. And finally, Justin Thomas of Georgia Tech has the ability to play another position like he did on short notice in the Senior Bowl, but as a quarterback, I think he still can have a future as a pro. Now, when you look at his game from 2014, when he had Georgia Tech in the ACC title game and knocked off Mississippi State in the Orange Bowl, he was able to be the most dangerous option quarterback there was because he was hitting passes downfield, which can really open up an option offense. So if he's looking to remain at quarterback, obviously from a consistency standpoint, he'll have to get better. Looking at it from the realm of possibility, I think you can see a guy like Seneca Wallace as a comparison. Wallace was a similar prospect coming out of Iowa State and was able to grow into an efficient and effective passer in Seattle. Now, while also being able to utilize his athleticism on gadget plays. But I do think in the CFL, where they actually utilize a short yardage red zone goal line quarterback, I think that's where Thomas can still play his game and play it well.